So about an hour before the debate, we know from reporting, Kamala Harris's team was told, hey, it's possible that Trump is going to say this wild thing on the debate stage tonight, namely that Haitian migrants in the town of Springfield, Ohio, were eating pets. I want to be very clear. This is not happening. It's a vile conspiracy that's been thrust upon a vulnerable community that is in this country legally, and indeed was invited to the town for economic reasons. So we should just, from the top, make that clear. This did indeed come up on the debate stage. It had previously been pushed by Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, who I guess decided to spread this. Trump has also apparently been close to noted conspiracy theorist Laura Loomer. Fine, and apparently this made its way from a social media post from someone who since said, "Oh, actually, I didn't see anything. I heard it from somebody." To the major party. To literally the Republican ticket for president and vice president. Anyway, at the debate, as I'm sure you listeners, if you followed this at all, remember, Harris did the world's most obvious baiting of Trump and said, "Oh, people leave your rallies." He could not resist from talking about this and was like, "People love my rallies and they love what I have to say," and then starts talking about how they're, exactly as she was warned, that they're eating cats and dogs. And she laughed and said, "Talk about extreme," which it is. It's extremist rhetoric. And I think while, like, on the one hand, just on the cynical political level, I think on the one hand, Trump seeming like an extremist conspiracy theorist who is spending his days regurgitating what has been found in the bowels of the internet, like, that's not bad for the Harris campaign, right? That's exactly who they've been trying to paint him as, with much help from the candidate himself. However, it's been a week. We are still talking about this. And I mean, the residents of Springfield, Ohio, the Haitian residents of Springfield, Ohio, are dealing with threats to their schools, to there were cultural festivals that have been canceled or called off. I read, I'll put in the show notes, a story from the Washington Post in which, like, sort of the head of the local Haitian association was preparing a presentation trying to convey to people what Haitians eat, to make clear that it's not scary, it's not threatening. So I think on the one hand, it's like, oh, haha, like these crazy things that these guys are saying, but it has real consequences for the people who have to live there, right? Who simply are Haitian immigrants to this country, who are living in Ohio, trying to send their kids to school, trying to go to work. And then J.D. Vance has the audacity to go back on television and say, "Well, I'll tell stories if that's what I need to get people to pay attention to the truth." Literally, what are you talking about? If you're making things up, then you're not drawing attention to the truth. You're drawing attention to lies. And if the truth was so salacious, you wouldn't have to push stories. We wouldn't have to have noted moral panic stirrer Chris Rufo going online and saying, look, we found a video from the next town over. And it's like, well, that's chicken, Chris Rufo, but that's fine. Like, what are we doing here? It's both, like, it's both a helpful illustration of what of who Donald Trump is in 2024, of what this campaign is. It's sort of the intellectual pretensions, such as they were, stripped away, right? The concern for I guess any pretensions that this was not just a campaign of racist myths. I don't even know what to call them. Like, that's all, that it's useful for that. But it's upsetting to know that that there are people whose lives are being made more difficult because this is the line they've decided to run on.